So it seems that Math Hoffa took down the infamous video with Fat Joe dissing FBAs. And this is my message to Math Hoffa. I know it's your program. I know you can do what you want and you're in your right to do what you want with your podcasts. But you should have kept that on if you felt strongly about it and accepted whatever backlash it came with it, with Fat Joe's opinions. I mean, you could have put a disclaimer. You could have also came up with a follow up explaining the context of it and said, this is Fat Joe's opinion, and Fat Joe's opinion does not align with the views and opinions of the My Expert Opinion podcast. You could have did something like that, but instead you went full blown chicken and took the program off of your rotation and off your channel. My biggest question to you is why have Fat Joe say what he said in the first place if you knew that there was going to be blowback from it? You could have just edited out if you just felt a certain way about it. But I understand it probably wasn't your choice. It was probably Fat Joe behind the scenes saying, yo, Math, you think you can do me a solid? Yo, I need you to remove that part of the interview with me, man. I don't want that on there. Math Hoffa, in case you're not new to this game, there's a thing. There's a document called release forms. I'm sure way before you uploaded that interview to your channel and whatnot, Fat Joe signed a release. Maybe he didn't sign a release. So if he did, you could have told Fat Joe to go jump in the East River and that you're gonna keep the footage up as is, but you didn't, because I know in this business things are very political, so you want to maintain that relationship with you and Fat Joe. So I understand why you did what you did. But another thing is why, since Fat Joe said what he said, and since he made some subtle or not so subtle remarks to Tariq Nasheed and Lord Jamar. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of both of them right now. But if you claim to be this and that, or an interviewer and whatnot, and I know, you're not that kind of podcaster, but entertain me for a second. Entertain this suggestion for a second. Go with me for a second, folks. You could have extended an olive branch to Tariq Nasheed to come on My Expert Opinion, where he could have counteracted Fat Joe's remark about what he said about FBAs and hip hop. You could have invited Lord Jamar to come on there and counteract what he said about Lord Jamar in hip hop. You could have did those things as an interviewer, but I see that you're taking the coward's way out and not inviting those gentlemen on there to speak their point of view. You're just gonna go along with Fat Joe because Fat Joe is your boy. There's a fine line between friendship and getting all sides of the story, so to speak. You could have reached out. You could reach out to Tariq Nasheed and Lord Jamar. What are you scared of? And while I'm on the subject here, I think it's time for people like Lord Jamar, Tariq Nasheed, KRS-One, Busta Rhymes, Pete Rock, and whoever has any disagreement about the origins of hip hop. I think you guys really need to sit down in the room and face each other and talk about this topic in real time instead of just making videos about one another. I mean, I give KRS-One, Pete Rock, and Busta Rhymes credit. They said what they said and they moved on. They didn't really take the bait, so to speak. Fat Joe took the bait because, they were trolling Fat Joe the hardest, and Fat Joe, he's a heavy presence on these social media streets. So that is why he pretty much just, said what he said here. But, having Fat Joe just concentrated on other things, and maybe this wouldn't be such an issue right now. But I do believe that these gentlemen, they really do need to call each other up on the phone or hit each other up in the DM or whatever communication method that they prefer, and just meet up and have a face-to-face discussion. Lord Jamar wanted that, but obviously they seen through Lord Jamar and they seen what he was doing, so that's why they didn't entertain that. But I just think, for the fans and for the audience, they really need to do that because somebody needs to be the adult of the room and set everything straight here and get everything back to a semblance of normalcy. But you guys won't do that. And when I mean you guys, I'm talking about you podcasters because you like to keep a good argument and a good schism going because it brings in the Google AdSense money or in other cases donations. That's why you're going to keep it going. Me, if I was a bigger presence in this, I would be about bringing people together instead of keeping walls up. That's just me. I believe in building bridges. I don't believe in building fences and walls and shit. But I guess some of y'all are gonna do what your white daddy does, and I don't have to elaborate on your white daddy. You know who I'm talking about. He just won the White House. So anyway, audience, tell me what you think. Let me know in the comment box. This is Iron Will Media. Let me come back with a PS on that ass, like Mad Bus Driver X would say. Yeah, so Math Hoffa came out with a video where he addresses the controversy of Fat Joe's remarks about FBA and his stance on it. And for the most part, Math Hoffa was just being himself. And like I said, I pretty much know what kind of show my expert opinion is. My expert opinion isn't 60 Minutes. It isn't the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer. It's not even Roland Martin. Math Hoffa is his own unique individual. So he pretty much expressed his thoughts on the controversy of that clip as best as he could. And I don't really expect any more from him or any less of him because he's just being who he is at the end of the day. Now, I looked at the comment section, and people in the comment section let him have it about, well, Math Hoffa, he should have he should have pressed up on Fat Joe about his remarks and about. I'm like, Math Hoffa isn't going to do that. That's not who Math Hoffa is. Math Hoffa, he's not like a conscious battle rapper per se. He's not even an activist. So to expect a guy to do something that he normally doesn't do is just insane. Just enjoy my expert opinion for what it is. I mean, this is probably the reason why we ain't going to have Tariq Nasheed on there or even Lord Jamar on there telling their side of the story. Hell, we ain't going to even have Dr. Umar Johnson on there. And I know how some of you feel about Dr. Umar Johnson, so don't beat my head up in the comment box, but still. I know who Math Hoffa is, and you guys are trying to make him something that he's not. And I know at the end of the day, y'all are going to call him Tether Hoffa or whatever, but you guys are free to do what you do, I mean, I know when it's all said and done, you ain't going to call him Tether Hoffa to his face. So you guys are still going to say the same old stuff behind the keyboard. Just like you won't say that to Fat Joe's face either. So, anyway, this is Iron Will Media.